Hey everybody, so this is our first review for the Chakor's YouTube channel. In this recording, what we want to do is we want to make sure that everybody in the no code and especially in the bubbles environment uh, should know about the responsive engine. So that's what we are going to look into. And before moving to the responsive engine, it's better if we could just understand the how we should structure our website or web app or whatever we are building. uh, and we will start from the website part, and then we will move to the web app side. We will discuss actually how to structure the app, what are the rows and what are the columns, and then we will move on. And in the part two, we will actually show you all of these, what all of these properties do exactly. If you make them rows or if you make them column, what these container alignments are and what these conditions do actually in the responsive engine. So the the best so when you want to structure the app, what you do is you have to you have to follow some standards and you have to follow some structure to build an app which is consistent. For this scenario, what we do is we make sure that we have all that whatever we are creating, if it's a website or if it's a web app. For the web app it can vary, but for the websites or for the landing pages, what you do is you make every page 1200 pixels, or some people make it 1120, some make it 1180. So it's actually about your likings, but mostly if you make it 1200, it's just fine. So you have to make sure that you build the website as the desktop first. It In my experience been building web apps for past 2 years on the WordPress and on other platforms as well. uh, I think 1200 is the best width that you can go for. So your page will always be a column. Let me actually tell you what I'm supposed to mean. Let me actually show you here as well. Here. So let's suppose we have a column here, and we what we want to do is we want to make a text appear here, and then we want the button that we put here should be below this text and not in front of this text. So what we do is we make sure that this button is placed in a column whose container layout is column. So if you make it row, as you can see, it moves next to the uh, text. So if you so because its width is 200 pixels, it has a fixed width, and button also has a fixed width of 150 pixels. What it is doing is so that 1200 pixels plus 150 pixels equals to 350 pixels. So we have still 50 pixels left here that bubble shows that here shows us here. So as you can see, the group has a fixed element, a fixed width of 400 pixels. So this is how actually it all works. So if you make it column, it will stack on top of each other. So if you make it row, it will show up next to each other. This is actually everything that happens in the web apps or in the websites. This is all you have to do. You have to make sections, and you have to make columns and rows, and this is how everything works. So let me actually just clone any of the page, uh, any of the page actually. So what we are going to clone is uh, let's just actually clone a section from our website. So we could randomly pick a section from here. Actually, just let's just build this testimonial here from this page. As you can see, so this is a complete section. So what I mean by structuring your app is, you first have to make a section. When you make a group, you have to make some sections in it. So this is this is our first section. Then we have testimonials here. This is our second section. Then we have a booking section here, that you can book, and this is one section. And then we have a section for testimonials as well. So this can be considered as one section, and then this section can be considered as another section as well. So and then in these sections, then there are further columns. Let me just actually show you what I mean by that. Let me actually just make a section here, make it so because it big. So you have, so first what you do is you make the every page a column, and then when you are making the sections in those columns, you have to make it row, because you have to further make columns in it every time. Because as you can see, we have a column here. So this logo, then this text, and then this image, and then this text, and then this text, all of these things are stacked over each other. This means that because all of these things are stacked over each other, this can be considered as a column. And because this image is separate, and it is taking full height of this section, you can consider it as another example. So when we build our section, let me actually just I think make it with no more than 1200 pixels. And then what we should do is we should make further two columns as in that design. Now what happens is that, since you can see this column, that in this invisible column is actually a little bit bigger than this column here that contains the image. uh, Automatically we have to make, so when we have so when we make this section, we can say that this column, let me actually just make its name as column 1, and make its layout as column, because it is a column. And what I should do is that I should make its width in pixels, in percentages. Let me just make it 60 pixels, 60 of the full width. And then let me actually just copy this group, this column, and then make it fixed width of 40%. So this makes a total of 100%. So even if I make this section, let me just actually bring it up from here. And make this a section. We can say that this is a section 1, and we can say that this is a column 2, not 12. So even if we make this column, like, it should not go beyond 1000 pixels, and we make it horizontally aligned to center. So these are different things. If you want to align your column, your section to left, you can just select this button. And if you want to center your group, or anything in comparison to what you have uh, in here. Let me actually just make it 5 yeah. Now I can say that this group, this is a section. This is one column, and here is another column. Just make it like that. And what I'll be doing is I'll be giving it some padding. So what it will do is, so let me just actually demonstrate you what the margins are and the paddings are in this example. So if you want that your section, that whatever your section is coming, if you want your section to appear after some pixels, like if you add 50 here, it will give some margin from the top to that section. So as you can see, we have our page which is the parent of this section, and when we give this section a margin of 50 pixels, it gives it it actually makes it below a little bit below, a little bit below from top. So it gives it a value of it gives it a margin of 50 pixels. So what happens if we makes if we give it some padding? So as you can if I give it padding of 50, as you can see that since we have given our section a color of this cyan green, I don't exactly know what it is called, but since it is given as cyan green color, you can see it is giving the space inside of that element, inside of that section, while when we gave the margin, it gave the space outside of the group or section. So if I add 50 at the bottom and then on the left and on the right, you can see that the padding is only getting inserted on the inside of the groups. It is not inserted on the outside of the group. If I give some margin to bottom, then as you can see that it is giving the margin outside of the element. Then 50 margin from left is outside of the element as well. So this is exactly what you will be doing. So let me actually just remove these margins for now. Margin and padding, everything, remove this for now, and let's just actually get this logo and download it, I think here. Then this person looks nice, I don't know, he looks innocent. And then we would also need the image. So what we can do is, for a lot of you guys who don't know, you can click inspect here, but if you click on this image and right click, it will show up this dialog here, and if you click inspect, uh, and it will actually show you like this. So if you click and select, you have to actually click on this icon, and then it will make you select the elements on the page. So if you click this image, we can see that there is the image hiding from us, and we can just click on it and save the image here. So now we have our assets complete here. So what we will be doing here is that this is actually a Chrome extension. It's called eyedropper. I don't actually, I will add the description, I will add the links for these extensions that I will be using. I will be using this extension to pick the color from the page. And as you can see, so if you click this uh, extension and click on this button, it will make you this color picker. So if you click anywhere while this box is appearing, who's showing us the color, if you click here and go back to this color picker, as you can see that it is giving us the exact hex code of what the color was on the website. So so from here we can say that our sections color is this and not what we had before. And because our website is actually all white, we should make it all white as well, which is 6 times f. And then the other thing that we need is, this is an image, this is a text element, this is an image as well, and then this is the text element as well, then this is the text element as well. So let me actually just bring those all of the image elements and text elements here. Let's just make it, so if we click on this image and get back here, we have our image here. And then what we want to do is, we want to bring up some text here, and what text exactly we want is this text. We just need to copy paste. We will be styling these after some time, don't worry about that. Let me just actually make it 100% for now. And then let me actually just make it, then what we can say is, we need another image here. Actually, we need this, which is of this person. Then we need another text here, which is the name of this person, Namru. His name is good. So let me actually just remove the background. Let me actually just make its background as none. We do not need a background here. And what we can do is, since if we click on this image and click on inspect, we can see its width is 600 pixels and height is 438 pixels. But also we can see above here, that it appears a pop-up that says its width is 125 multiplied by, and the height is 91 pixels. So let's just try that first. 125 pixels and then 91.2 pixels, and then it gives us exactly the width and height of the image that is shown here. And then I'll be using another extension, so I've used first this extension to pick the colors, and then I picked this extension to pick the font. So if I click on this font and select this text, it will give me the hex code for this color. So if I click on this color and if I try to make it so it is exactly that color, So as you can see that it is saying that the font family is Roboto, so we will get the Roboto, but also that we need a weight of 400. So let's find Roboto, and its weight should be 400 is actually a regular style. So click on regular, and then we need 18 pixels as it is shown here, 18 pixels of size, and then it gives us exactly what we want. About this image, we can just click on this image and click inspect, and as you can see it is saying that it is clearly 120 by 120 pixels of image. So we can just come here, and in the layouts tab we can say that it is 120 pixels exactly, and we need to make sure that it is round, and for to make it round we just make its border radius the roundness of 500 pixels, so it makes a circle around this image. And then if we want to get the styles for this text as well, so just click, and we can find Roboto again, who's Roboto, and its font weight is 700 and the size is 18. I'm currently ignoring this LinkedIn logo, but we can make it as well. What you will be doing is you will be making a text element and then a icon, and then you will be wrapping those two elements in a row group. So it will appear on the same line, and you can just add the LinkedIn logo in the icons element. So if I click, if I find the color, this text, I also want to make it central, and then I also want to get the values, get the styles. So it's Roboto 400 weight and size 18, color is 7, size was 18, then Roboto regular. So I also want to make it center aligned. So since it so now since we have some padding around here uh, in this so we do not have padding in this column, but we have some padding in this column here. So we will give some padding in this column. So as we can see that this column has the inside padding and not the outside outside padding. The padding which is outside of the element, it is called margins, and the padding which is inside of the elements, it is called padding. So if you like, if you add some padding, sorry, if you add some padding, I think it is not enough maybe, because we have some space here, plenty of space here. Let's try 30 pixels. Yeah, I think now it's better, but let's just go with what you can say is 50 pixels. After which we had we had this column whose uh, so we need an image element here as well. So as you can see, we have some space here from the above. I will add some space here. So what we want to do is we want to give a space out of the elements. So I want some space after this element and before this element, and not the inside of these elements. So what I will do is I will give it some margin of, let's say, 50 pixels, but it is too much, so let's just reduce it to 20. And then we have some 50 pixels, I think, of margin from this section. And then we have some we have to reduce the size of this text, and then it has some margins from top. Now since this element, this image, is in the center of this column, what we can do is we want to make its horizontal alignment to center. So we can see in the layers tab there, here is the layout alignment. So horizontal alignment, so we just need to click on this centered alignment, and it will make this element appear on the center according in respective to its parent. So it will appear to the center respective to its parent. So if you reveal it in the elements tree, you can find that this image uh, parent is column 1. So this is actually centered according to this column. So if you click, so we also want to make sure that these are also center aligned, and we want to make sure that it is, so making it fit with is actually that it will only take a space that is that the content according to content in it. So so if we click this, if we check this checkbox, it is only taking space according to what according to the minimum space required to show this content. So I also want to remove the minimum width from this element, and let's just preview it for once. It's not perfect obviously yet, but let's just preview it. Always preview by removing the debugger. As you can see, we are close to what we have here, and what I would like to do is that I would like to increase some height of this page. Should we just make it 1000? And then what I would like to do is that I would give this element. So what I want to do is I want to actually give this whole section a space from the top, so we could see a clear difference between the page and this section. So what I will be doing, I will be selecting this section, and then I will be coming here, and then I will say that I need a top margin of 50, or I could say that I need a top margin of 100 pixels. I think 75 looks good. So as you can see that it has now given 75 pixels of margin from the top. So let's just actually, so so the best part of having percentages in the columns and only fixed widths and only pixel widths on the section side is that if I now want to increase the width of this section, because I think this section is a little bit wider. What I will do is I will just come to this section and I will make sure that its minimum width is 800 pixels at least, and then let's see if its size increase. I think it is not increasing, so let's just make it 1000 pixels. Still not increasing. Let's just try. Yeah, now it increased. Let's actually just go for 1150. Yeah, now we have what we can say is close to what we have on the Choco's website. What we need to do is that we simply need to increase some a little changes. Mm, yeah, I think now it looks good. Let's just make sure that this image is covering whole space. And then let's just make sure that this image is covering up all of the height as well. So what I can say is that I want to make its minimum height 700 pixels, and then I will keep reducing it to the point. Yeah. One thing that you could do is you could have a group here that could that could expand to all of the height available, and then you could add this image in the background of that group. But I did not go for that approach because I wanted to make sure that any new user is currently should currently be familiar with the elements first, and then he should move to the any other part. So let's just give it some rounding here. As we can see that it is a little bit round here, roundness going on. So it is round on the element on the section part. So we need to give it some roundness. Let's just try 20 pixels. Ah, no, it is not good. Maybe try a little bit more. And now what we have something that we can say is looking good, and we need to actually decrease some padding here. Let's just give 35, 35, 35, 35 everywhere. And the only thing left here is that we need to make this image uh, actually this we have to make this image look good. This is currently not looking better. So yeah, it is always it had to go with the column because Bubble does not offer us for us to make the image uh, expand. So what we will be doing is also on the sections part, the roundness is not showing up here. So let's just make it round. Actually, let's just first make it completely responsive. Then what I could say is that on this column I could define each border independently, and then I could make this. I want to make top right corner. What I want to do is I want to give this 30 pixels. I don't exactly remember what we gave it here. Yeah, it was 30 pixels. So, and then again I want to give it a roundness of 30 pixels on the bottom right as well. Let's just give it bottom right 30 pixels. So there we have a complete copy of actually this section on the Chakos website, and we have complete copy here built in a small time. So but then what you could do, what you could think is how would it look on the mobile side. So we need to make it responsive first, and then only it will look good on the mobile. So as you can see that it is not looking good. In the next part we will make sure that it is responsive. We only need to make sure we only need to play with the max and min widths and percentages and pixels of this section only, and then we will make this site are responsive for the mobile as well. So I hope to see you in the next part. Thank you so much for joining us. Peace.